you take your truth and then tie it on a line to their truth. And then you've made that connection. And anybody who finds their truth and your truth in your song will be a fan of your song. Guaranteed. Hey guys, Tim here from the Writer's Block. Thank you so much for spending some of your precious and hard-earned time with me. Today we are going to talk about the songwriter. All right, so we're going to do some tips on songwriting. We're going to do some tips on being a songwriter. We're going to talk expectations. We're going to talk a couple realities, and we're going to talk dealing with criticisms. Okay. Now, I want to. I don't want to take the topic of songwriting or being a songwriter as a light thing, because I kind of see it portrayed that way sometimes, and I really don't. I really don't care too much for that, because it can be very joyous and very lighthearted, but it can also be super deep and a really vulnerable and nitty-gritty issue. And so knowing that, let's dive into this and see what we can uncover. But when we're talking about writing songs, the first thing that I do is I've got to have music. I don't put music to words. I think some people put music to words. That's not my process. I can't really speak to that. If you're putting words to music, the best way to do it is first make sure that your music is going to fit the topic that you choose. I mean, of course, that seems common sense, but I mean, really, really pay attention to it. You can do things like, add a seventh if it's a happy and bouncy tone. That seventh might bring that mood home more. Just take your rhythm seriously and make sure that your rhythm says what you want to say with the words. Because they are a team. I find that my best avenue, and this is a good avenue for a lot of people, seems to be to catch a turn of phrase or a saying or something. Sometimes somebody will say something. It's not just true, but it's strikingly true, or it is quite funny in a more reserved kind of like poetic way, or it is an ironic saying, or like oxymorons work well. People are surprisingly insightful, even if they're not trying to be, and people are surprisingly funny, even if they're not trying to be. And if your ears are open and your eyes are open, and you're looking for material all the time, then, and you're really appreciating what's around you, then you're really going to pick up on some gems. And so once you have a gem, then you have a direction that you're driving toward from the very start of the writing process, and that can be awesome. In that instance, I'm still not really putting music to words, but I am kind of putting music to a topic, which is that turn of phrase or that line that I really like. One-liners can be amazing incentives for songwriting. And sometimes that one-liner doesn't even make it in, but it's driven you in the direction you needed to go. And then you're pen chasing. So having the great idea is a lot easier if you look for it in all your outside sources. And once you have the great idea, don't be afraid to be flexible and chase the pen. Okay. You have to kill your babies, as they say. It's like you can fall in love with a line or a couple of lines or an idea or whatever. You can fall in love with that all you want, but if the pen's going and a few sentences later that line or whatever doesn't work anymore, if you stay attached to that line, you'll bring down the song. So chase the pen, make the corrections you have to make, and oftentimes that's going to be your best bet. Other times Other times you're looking for a topic and then you're looking for that one-liner, because that's what you're always looking for in a song, is that one-liner that takes up a small enough amount of time but says a large enough amount of things. And so it always comes down to a punchline. And what's it going to be? Is it something that you're going to have to try to make up with a pen and paper in front of you? That's difficult. So the best thing you can do is look for it around you, because it is all around you. As far as technically how I do it, I will, I have my music. Now I have my topic. I need a melody. So how the words for the newcomers, how the words are physically going to fit into the music. So like, just because the music goes a certain way, the melody still has 10 different ways it can go within the music. And so hum, use just vowel sounds. They call that songwriter language. Do whatever you got. I don't care if you say pink flamingo. Get that melody how you like it, and then trim the fat, trim the fat, trim the fat. Make sure that the music is just right, the melody is just right. Everything is working together for a common goal, which is whatever the experience you're trying to sell with the song. So now we've got music, we've got melody, we've got topic. We may even have the punchline that's going to go directly in the chorus. Okay, so now it's just get started. Get started, get started, get started. Sometimes the corniest sounding opening line will turn out to work quite well. Just get an opening line down and start driving. And then if you find that the opening line needs to be revised, it's a lot easier to have a masterpiece and all you have to do is fix a line or two than to have nothing because you're worried about the first line not being good enough. Okay, so just get started. Write something down. Get the lyrics, and then we're home free, almost. We need to arrange the song, and that can be super important too. Based on so many factors. Are you a strong vocalist? A strong vocalist may want to repeat choruses toward the end so he can really wail or go a little bit freestyle with that singing. Someone like me who has shiny, vibrant limitations when it comes to vocal performing may want to do something a little bit more open and shut. Get the message, hit them with the message, and maybe they won't notice that you're not the greatest singer in the world. And there's all points in between. So it depends on, it can depend on your vocal ability. It can depend on your musical style. It can depend on so many things, whether or not you want 3 choruses in the song, 3 choruses and a bunch of little half choruses at the end. A lot of songs do that. You can have 2 choruses and a bridge. You can have 3 choruses, but all 3 of them are different, meaning they all tell a little bit of a different part of the story. That's common, and it's fairly common. You can have instrumental at the start. You can have a big solo because you've been watching your buddy Tim's videos and you're kind of tearing up the guitar lately, and so you kind of want to have a big beautiful solo in the middle. So you have to arrange your song. Your arrangement and your lyrics you will work on them like this. It's not that you'll write the lyrics and then arrange it, and it's not that you'll arrange it and then write the lyrics. You will kind of do both simultaneously, and you'll get the best result from that, and it'll be the most natural. For all intents and purposes, the song is written. Go back over it, trim the fat, trim the fat, trim the fat. Now, once the song is written, that's kind of the beginning. It's good to think that you're going to write a killer song, and maybe you will, but you can't be expecting so much from your first song, because then if you don't get it, well, it can be crushing. and it's hard to come all the way back from that, and so it's better to expect that the song will be great in a different way. You should expect your first song to be great in the sense that it is the thing that will teach you lessons, and make you into someone who is prepared to sit there and write multiple great songs. So if you look at it that way, then if the song turns out great on its own merit, wonderful. And if it turns out that it is the former, if it turns out that it's just something that's a great stepping stone for you, then either way you're satisfied. That's winning, and that's sustainable. It's not sustainable to set your hopes, and you want to set your hopes high, but you want them to gradually, this is the path you want to see yourself taking. If you see yourself taking this path, then the reality is the first time you hit that obstacle, you're more than likely taking this path. Now, of course, this is all just opinion, and it's based on my experience, but I think that you'll find that most of it is very useful and true, and I'm not really trying to give songwriting tips. I'm trying to give songwriter tips, and the difference is anybody can write a song, and some people can write a song that's wonderful. There's not too many people that can write a ton of songs that are wonderful. That takes sustainable habits, especially when the world doesn't always receive our songs the way that they should. I mean, like me and all of you guys would agree that creating music out of thin air is a fantastic gift, and it's amazing that we humans can do it, and it's amazing that we can appreciate music. And so for the ones who are not into music, it's hard to understand them, but they are out there, and so the world won't always receive our music the way that they probably should, even when it is excellent. So it's really important to keep your expectations in check. This is your path. Okay. Have the patience, have the sustainable habits, have the confidence that can take some hits and shake itself off and go to the next song. Now, let's talk about taking your songs to the right people. Okay, this can be huge for your confidence. I mean, it can be even knowing that you are a music enthusiast and a lot of people aren't. That's not so clear, and it's not so comforting when feelings are involved, which they will be when you pour your heart onto a page. When you're putting everything that you are and everything you came from onto a page and saying, like, this is the best that I have. What do you think of this? Because that is what you're saying. Oftentimes when you bring a song to somebody, and you would never say that to them, but that can very much be what you mean, and people don't always receive it well, and they don't always think about that, and they can just crush you, like people can really crush your enthusiasm to get up and write another one, and they're not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to put anybody down. Nobody's trying to be negative, but they will not think about the things the way that you and I do, because they don't write songs and they don't try to do those things, so they don't know how serious and nitty-gritty it can be. It's best if you have a community of people that don't know you, but they're musicians or songwriters, or if you have friends that are musicians or songwriters, then take your music to those people. You want to ask for criticism and then separate the wheat from the chaff. I don't want you to blindly dismiss criticism and say, no, the song's perfect. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's foolish. But it's also foolish, and it's just as foolish to blindly accept criticism as as uh, as always factual. Sometimes the people you take your songs to can be wrong. Sometimes they can misunderstand. They can mishear. They can be in the wrong mood. Maybe they just have different tastes than you. So there is a certain amount of separating the wheat from the chaff. Now, if two or three people tell you the same criticism, you need to change it. If you're kind of worried about a certain thing, and then somebody brings up that same thing, you need to change it. If everybody's got a little something, but they're all different and they're all over the board, maybe not such a huge thing. Just, think about it. You've got to be able to get objective about it and be able to separate the wheat from the chaff when it comes to criticism. Okay, so that's huge. And then, of course, know what to do with the good criticism that you get. Follow up, work on those things that you figure out that you need to work on. Follow up and grow. Practice, 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 practice. Just like on the guitar, just like you do with your voice, just like you do with anything. Let's hit a couple concise tips that I didn't touch on. One of those tips is you need two truths in every song. You need a little bit of your truth. So a literal past experience, a feeling that's true to you, something. You need a piece of yourself in it. You need your truth in it. And then you need someone else's truth in it. So that is an authentic song that you wrote with truth and meaning in it. But it's also something that has truth in it for the everyman, so to speak, or for your target. So you need your truth and you need their truth, because when somebody hears a song and they think, man, that's a well-written song, often what it means on some level is like I've connected with that songwriter. It's like we are somehow it's going to sound very, very corny, but like we are somehow friends now, or at least we're on the same page. It's a connection with that songwriter. It's like, man, because you take your truth and then tie it on a line to their truth, and then you've made that connection. And anybody who finds their truth and your truth in your song will be a fan of your song. Guaranteed. So now let's get away from the corny, over-dramatized, cliche stuff that I'm doing right now. But really, guys, it is absolutely true. I mean, I think that's a great way of looking at it. Another great tip would be start more basic and add what it needs. Oftentimes you'll get really close to a project and it blurs your vision. So like, especially when you're recording it or you're, thinking of working out how you're going to perform it, you can get your vision blurred, especially if you're on the project for a long time. So it's best to start basic, and if it absolutely needs it, add it. All right, man. I think we've touched on a lot of cool stuff, and hopefully this helps you guys, man. I really, really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out, and I love doing this channel because I am super, super passionate about music. And I really, for those who have been writing songs, I salute you guys, man. Keep fighting the good fight. and doing what you love, man, and just hone your skills, hone your skills, hone your skills. For those, you know, with some insight into this process, comment. If you have songs that you want to feature, comment. If you just want to reach out to me, reach out to me. Those just getting into songwriting, same thing. Comment, questions, anything like that. Like, subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified when another video comes out. If you are just getting into songwriting, absolute best of luck to you guys. Remember, this is one of the most wonderful things that you can be a part of is creating music and really enjoy that. And that's something, no matter what material things you have, that's something that you can hand down for generations. As long as that spirit's alive, that gift is alive. Enjoy it yourself. And when you're ready, pass it on to, to the next generation. Anyway, hopefully these tips help you guys, and hopefully I didn't, ramble on too aimlessly. You guys be good and go out there and kill it with this wonderful thing called music.